What is happening, my friends? Thank you for hanging. Thank you for joining me. I missed last Thursday because I was somewhere in a different city. I get to travel a lot for work, talking about martial arts and stuff. And I'm very grateful and I'm super excited. I'm trying to get together here almost every Thursday. I've done, I think this is my fourth of the last 5 weeks. Super fun. Just kind of hang and think open-mindedly. I think I put in the live today, The Art of War and Bruce Lee. That's what I had written. I'll show you. But actually, this isn't a studio, right? This isn't the news. I don't have a boss. This isn't some broadcast, right? The world that we live in, you get to just hang out and be truthful and be a regular person. And so you can do whatever you want, which is amazing, right? Amazing. And not every day do you feel great. You might have an idea of something you want to do, something you're planning to do, something you've scheduled or a strategy, but things aren't always going to go exactly as you please. Things aren't going to go according to plan. In fact, most people who are successful at projects, the key important ingredient is adaptability. And, you change, being willing to change. And for whatever reason, a couple hours ago, people who follow my stuff often are like, man, you're always so positive and everything is, motivating and stuff, which is a real big compliment. And yes, I am, but you don't always feel your best. Something's off. Sometimes you stop and you go like, how you doing? How we doing today? Everything all right? And if you're not feeling your best, we're going to go into something. Let me skip ahead and tell you what we're going to play with today. We're going to dig into some things people have said and look for a little depth and some meaning in what they've said. We're adapting. This is what we were going to do. And this is what we're doing. We're going to dig in because sometimes you're like, how am I doing? And if the answer is I'm not at my best, which is quite normal, most of us are not at our best. And that's adaptability too. People who are successful at anything, stick with things, work at things. People who go to the gym every day, it's not because they're motivated to go to the gym every day. In fact, 5 of 10 or 5 of 8 days, they're not motivated to go. So you got to figure it through. So how are you feeling? Well, if you're not feeling at your best, we're going to look at our diet, our exercise, our sleep. We're also going to look at what are we consuming. The world today is very full of distractions. I'm also going to try to work into the chat a little bit here if I can. Anyone who subscribes, I think, can write in the chat. One of the biggest things that's kind of creating anxiety, depression, these things where people aren't feeling the best is distraction. We're distracted a lot. And it's what are we consuming? What's going into our mind today? Did you choose that? You feel like you did, but did you actually choose it? Because if you're scrolling Twitter or Facebook, does anyone use Facebook? A little bit. It actually depends. Bare Knuckle show I work with, man, so many people follow BKB and BYB on Facebook, but I digress. What are you consuming? And were you watching the news, which is actually bad news? We call it the news. Fox or CNN or CNBC, doesn't matter what your flavor is, what your brand is. It's bad news. There is great news going on. There's really good things happening in the world. But what did we digest today? What are we purposefully choosing to put in? And sometimes when you're not feeling your best, the move is consume things that people are accomplishing things, overcoming things, not demonizing setbacks or failures, but in fact, embracing them and pushing through them. People who see obstacles as the path. And so sometimes you literally just go in and go, what can I purposefully, and this is valuable. And this isn't rah shit. This isn't like, this is valuable stuff. In a world of bad news, in a world of distractions, pretty negative Twitterverse and world right now that there's a lot of stuff coming at us. Can we selectively choose some things that will get us thinking about life with a positive perspective? And it can be a purposeful thing. So if we look at some quotes that people had said, you can put something on your wall. I got I got Muhammad Ali and I got Bruce Lee versus Muhammad Ali, which of course never actually happened. But my friends at Roots of Fight, wherever that is, it's hard to figure out. Oh, there, because I'm in reverse. Roots of Fight. My friends made me that poster. It's from one of their T-shirts, and they sent it to me, which is very thoughtful. But yeah, what are you surrounding yourself with? What are you consuming? What's your diet? And I mean, if your diet is Doritos and cheeseburgers, you won't feel your best. And if your diet is war and true crime, which I had a nightmare. I haven't had a nightmare in a long time. I watched some true crime the other night. In the middle of the night, I woke up. Now, I had a baby a couple of years ago. It changes these things. But hey, my point is, do you purposefully sometimes, because you have to, find some things to give you a positive perspective in the world? Because if you don't, the default is there's a lot of things that are going to negatively attack your psyche in the world right now. Nobody's probably overly planning to do that to you. It's just sort of, rewarded. If I wanted to right now really break, have the next YouTube stream watched by a lot more people than this and have this shared all over different sites and stuff, the easiest thing I would do right now, and don't do this, but this is just observing the world, is start talking really negatively about somebody else. Really digging into this guy or this woman, person, whatever is the worst. Here's why I hate them. Here's what they're, just really tear into them. If I did that, I would be rewarded for that. More people would watch, more people would share. That could actually increase my revenue. And so I don't want to do that. I'm going to do the opposite today. But the reason that the news is so negative and Twitter is so negative and modern content is often so negative is because there's a reward, a simple reward for doing that. Upset people, mobilize their emotions and get rewarded for it. So companies, individuals, brands are doing this. Sometimes they just do it by accident, go, wow, that worked. What if we did it again? And sometimes they just analytically look and go, we need some beef, we need some negative interaction with other people to get our thing. So we're going to do the opposite of that today. We got something here. Really, people leaving some nice comments in the chat. Thanks, Justin. Really appreciate it. So let's look at some things and let's dig into some of their meaning. It's cool to put something on your wall, hang in there, and there's a cat hanging on a thing. That's cool. You can do that. It won't hurt. But what do these things mean? What might the person have meant when they said them? What could it mean to us if we interpret it a certain way? Can this shift our perspective on today, on tomorrow and the next 15 minutes? Even if it just shifts your perspective, the next thing that happens to us, we meet somebody, we're in a cab or an Uber or something, or we're in a store. If we treat somebody nicely because we just had a shift in our perspective, that can affect their world. It really affects the world, how you interact with people, because it affects them, which affect everybody else, everybody they meet. So let's do this. We were talking about looking at some of this, but and of course, martial arts is the root of what I do, but I've used martial arts as a lens through which to view the world. And I've learned a lot of things in the process, or at least I hope I have. I'm certainly smarter than my own self was 10 years ago, I believe, and I've gathered some life experience. So hopefully we can dig into something like this. So I just randomly picked some amazing quotes, and we will look at them and see what we can glean from them today, okay? Thanks for hanging with me, everybody. All right. Dream as if you'll live forever. Live as if you'll die today. Never seen this before? Never seen this before? James Dean, obviously, very successful individual in his field. Dream as if you'll live forever. Live as if you'll die today. Jeez, that's heavy. Live as if you'll die today alone is a powerful thing. And I was going to show you a couple of books. I mentioned Ryan Holiday a bunch of times on my live streams and my other things because I like his books. Stoicism is very much part of the mainstream pop culture world right now. And it's really valid time. And one of the roots of Stoicism is remember you're going to die, right? And don't pretend that's not so. In fact, consider that truth. And if you do, and you accept that it is true, you will live in this moment very different. Your impending death, and by impending, I hope it's 60 years from now, it's actually a very huge motivator in how you'll live today and right now, right? If somebody told you you had 6 weeks to live or 6 years, somebody says you got 6 years to live, or somebody says you have 11 years, 4 days and 9 hours to live, you're gonna live different. And you do. You may only have 41 years to live. It could be a lot less. We don't want to consider too heavily on that. I hope I'm here in 12 or 15 years. But if I'm not here in 12 or 15 days, which I hope you don't look at this video in 11 days and you're sad. I hope none of that happens. But when I consider the fact that my daughter will be 18 in 15 years, I sure really want to live more than that. But if I consider that it's possible that I don't, how can I spend this time even more meaningful with her? Live as if you'll die today is incredibly powerful. Dream as if you'll live forever. The cool thing about that is you're not in a rush, right? The idea, if I told you, you have a dream of being a guitar player. Now, if your dream is to learn to play guitar, that could take 3 years. Well, that's okay. Because if we die in under 3 years, well, we did the best we can. We pursued our dreams the best we can, knowing it could take forever and that there's never the end of them. It's just such a beautiful quote. It's a nice one to start with. A lot of people on the stream, and I'm very grateful. I share this on a few places. YouTube, of course, is the hub, but so I don't know where everybody is. But thank you all, a couple hundred people at least, when you combine all the things. It's really a big compliment. And I'm hoping I'm going to bring you some value today, right? How you doing? This one we're going to do. Oh, last one. Here it is. How you doing? You doing okay? Because could you be doing better? Probably. Could your diet be better? Probably. Could you sleep a little better? Probably. These are all things we can do. But also, could you be consuming things that change your perspective towards a positive one, to one that will affect the way you interact with the world today? Yes, you could. So this is what we're trying to do. Here's another one. Actually connects to the other one pretty well. Bob Dylan, genius, of course. I mean, there's certain people that we go, oh, well, we know they're genius. The word genius actually is fairly can be a really negative word not for the person we're calling a genius, but for us. Bob Dylan wasn't born Bob Dylan. Bob Dylan became Bob Dylan. He was born Robert Dylan, probably, but Bob Dylan that we know, he became the Bob Dylan that we know, that we may call a genius, through deliberate practice and learning and dedication and working hard at his craft. If we say, well, Bob Dylan's a genius, I can never be like Bob Dylan, you will believe that to be true. But Bob Dylan was once a regular person who didn't know how to play guitar or write poetry. And he became somebody who could play guitar and write poetry through hard work, which we can all do, right? I was also busy being born every day. And of course, this is poetic. But if you aren't becoming more, you're dying. Right? I mean, we're dying anyways, right? We're all dying. And that's okay. That's a part of life. We embrace that. And we know that it's true. And it makes being alive more meaningful, right? But being born is like to learn and to change and to grow. If you're not busy, growing and changing and adding, all we're doing is slowly wearing down, slowly wearing away. We must add every day. And sometimes the adding is the taking away, the cutting away of the inessentials, which lets us focus more on the meaningful things, the meaningful experiences of our life, the meaningful things that we're learning. Something's important you really desperately want to do more of that and less of the other things. But yeah, we must change every day. We must grow every day. We must learn every day. We must become wiser because we're also becoming older, but we will delay that or balance it out nicely. So you're not only busy dying, you're also busy being born every day. These are meaningful things. These are special things. These are, like I said earlier, these are more than just things to put on a t-shirt or on the wall. If you consider them, if you really consider what some of these ideas are. Opportunity is missed by most people because it is dressed in overalls and looks like work. Never came across this one till today either. Never came across this till today. Till I was having a little bit of how am I feeling? Am I a little anxious, a little distracted? Like, am I a little, I'll tell you before I get into this sort of how I was feeling on a very low level. There's people who have very serious stresses, and I live an incredible life. And so my stresses, I believe, are minor compared to what's possible. But I have this bad habit sometimes, and I think people will relate to this. I do it a lot I used to do it a lot when I'm traveling. I got better at it. But where you just keep listing all the things you have to do. And through the listing of all the things you have to do, you don't do them or check anything off, and you do them over and over again. Travel was a bad one for me. Justin, thanks again, man. I appreciate it. There's a lot of kind things people send me. So travel is an easy one to explain, but you're like, okay, we got to get the thing. We got to book the parking. We're going to get our car, get to the parking lot, and then we're going to go to the place, get in there, go through, get our ticket, and then go through security and customs, and we'll be on the plane. And then you keep, the list gets shorter as things go, but then there's other things on the other end. And it's called anxiety, right? I have it on a very minor level, and certainly not, it's very minor, but all humans, many humans, a very common thing today, this idea, okay, we'll get that done, and after that, we'll do this. And you're always thinking a little bit in the future. And the downside of that is you're less in the present, right? And so I had a little of that going on today, and I pulled up some of these things, which brought me back to the present, especially the idea of sharing them, to really be here right now, to do the best I can to share these as really, in as meaningful a way as I can. And so that keeps me present. Having said that, I just picked up my phone, which I shouldn't do, right? This should go far. We all do it. We're all responsible. We're all culpable for these things. We're all in the same soup. A lot of distractions coming at us from one side. There's a lot of things coming at us through news and social media, very distracting, and creates some level of anxiety, even minor like mine, or major like many people, especially young people. So some of these things really help. But so opportunity and that's how I was feeling today. So I dug into some of these, felt a lot better, and then I wanted to share. So here we are. Opportunity is missed by most people because it is dressed in overalls and looks like work. That's so cool. So cool. It is work. The opportunity is one of those words I'm not a fan of. I'm curious about words, about their power, about how they shape thoughts. Especially today, it's a very, very, it's something to really consider when we're speaking. What do we mean? What does it mean to us? What does it mean to the person hearing, and all of these things? But people often, you hear this word opportunity as if somebody's like, I need a thing to happen, that when that thing happens, my life will get better, my work will improve, I'll X, Y, or Z. Something big will happen through which that event will change my life in some big way that I believe I need it to change. And so that's how some people see opportunity, and sometimes opportunity is discussed. Opportunity, because of that, it's become this inflated thing that some big opportunity is going to land in our lap and that things will change. Most things that we would actually call an opportunity actually is created through tiny little things every day, little bits of work that we do every single day. There was some example of that just today. I was thinking about a friend of mine that, may get this job that I know about that she doesn't know about. So it's in the field of entertainment. I kind of know about it. And for a second I thought, oh, wow, she doesn't even know this opportunity is going to pop. And I thought of the word, it's going to pop to her. It just will come out of nowhere. It's not coming out of nowhere. It's because of the 10 years of incredibly hard work that she's already done. When you see somebody have a big job, I work in television and media. So somebody in my field, or if you're new to my field, you may see someone go, well, how did she or he get that thing? They got that thing through tons of small work, dressed in overalls, looking like work, a bunch of stuff. I got 500,000 followers on Instagram that I send, that I build pieces to share with every single day. And I got them one at a time. There was a period where I lost 100,000 because the UFC took down my page. And then Joe Rogan told people, hey, you should follow my friend Robin. And I got 40,000 back. So it wasn't really one at a time. 40,000 of it returned, but I lost 100 to get the 40. But it's still one at a time. Everybody, every great pianist first figured out how to do scales or learned it when they were a kid. Like everything is work. And little bits of work. That person you see has got a crazy fit, body, or they're, big or strong, or they're good at something. They started out as a regular person. It's a sidetrack, but martial arts is my area of expertise. And people, when Conor McGregor was really doing things that people had never seen at the time, they would say, well, he has the gift of a big, powerful punch. It's like, he once didn't know how to punch, right? He was a person, and maybe he was 12 or whatever, but you have to learn to punch. And the more you train, the harder you can learn to punch. Like, nothing is a gift. It ties back to when I said Bob Dylan was a genius. If you say power is God-given, or this guy's got gifts, or this person's a genius, sometimes what you're doing, or what we'll do when we say those things, is we will start to make them seem magical and unachievable. But they're not. Everything can be done. Mostly it's dressed like in overalls and looks like work. And that's not a negative. I'm in my 50s. It's my birthday on Sunday. I'm getting old. But I'm pretty sure I learned things today that I didn't know about. I didn't know how to I'd never made a YouTube video or an Instagram post in 2017 when I was working in television. I learned all those things in my 40s, later 40s. You can learn everything, but it takes work. It takes work, and it's okay. If you're 63 years old today and there's something you still want to do, it's not too late. And you can do it. It can all be learned. So anyway, sorry, that was on. Speaking of distractions, they're good distractions, but on my computer, a thing popped up that is related to a text thing that is something else that I'm working on. And I saw it there, which made me go to this. And here I am, present in the moment, talking about this. And it is still, the world around us is distracting. Before I move on to the next thing, and this is for my own purpose, and what just happened there, where I saw a text message pop up in a bubble on my screen and went to my phone. That doesn't happen as much for me. Maybe 1 out of 100 times now, because I've turned off all my notifications. Really busy, a lot of projects, 4 or 5 different key large projects and relationships and partnerships, turned them all off. Actually, it all works better. If you get nothing out of this stream today but this, turn off all the notifications on your phone. Turn them off. Your life will improve immediately. Within 10 days, you will feel a slightly more serene interaction with the world, and within 10 or 15, your work things will go better, stronger, more focused. If you get nothing else out of this today, please turn off all your notifications. Let's move on. There's a couple here I really, really like, and they're related to the same thing, but it's big. Something I talk about a lot: failure, right? Super important. Failure is success in progress. I am going to read you something that somebody sent me today. And if I can see it within a second or two. If I cannot, then we won't. Okay. So I didn't ask him if I could read this, but I'm not giving a name. So it's a DM that a friend of mine gave me. And I'll paraphrase even, so that there's no chance anyone would never see. A subscriber, a follower on Instagram that I don't speak with directly very often, but I get these really kind messages, was like, I tried something today and I failed. Usually I drag this out because I'm afraid of failure, but with words from people like you and mention some other people that maybe they don't want mentioned, I went for it and I did fail, and I could not be happier with myself. I'm genuinely feeling great, even though this went south, and I want to thank you. This person, if you're watching right now, I hope I did a good job. There's no chance anyone would know that was you. And there's nothing direct about it. But I just want you to also know that I'm grateful that you would send me that, and I'll write you that back in it. But yeah, somebody, listen, like, every failure is success in progress. Now, I don't think Albert Einstein was trying to be poetic necessarily, although he is an artist very much as much. He was an artist very much as a scientist. But success in progress, meaning you're seeing the progress of success, and it is literally in progressively moving towards success. It is success in progress, and you are progressing, because each time you failed, you learned what not to do. There's so many great quotes related to this, but it's like, I didn't fail to invent something. I found one more way not to invent it, right? I didn't fail. Like, you're learning in the process. You're also demystifying the idea that you tried and failed, that you start to understand that there is a growing part of the world that will type something or say something to try to make fun of you because you tried and failed, but you'll understand that you're living the correct path. That sitting around somewhere and making fun of people who try and fail is a really dangerous trap. And I know we got a couple hundred people across the multiple platforms here, and I know that some of us have typed after Justin Gaethje got knocked out, you lose, and maybe not you loser, but people have, I've seen it. And I mentioned Justin Gaethje because I'm a big fan of his, and I've made a piece, and it was a piece of him doing a brilliant kick, and I put in, and it came out the day before either Max or something else. We got another direct comment here. I'm going to read our couple. It was a day or two before, whether it was Max or a fight right before that. And then he shared it on his platform as well. So hundreds of thousands of people were able to see it. And that was a really cool thing. And then I saw popping up in messages or whatever links on it, I saw that there was somewhere between dozens and 100 people making fun of him. And I thought to myself, hopefully that doesn't bother him. And I'm pretty sure by now it doesn't. But this is bad for them, because what they're doing is saying, they're telling themselves, I better not dare greatly, because if I fail, people like me, meaning them, will make fun of me. So I better, and you're like reinforcing that you should never try because you might fail. You're afraid of failure. Failure is nothing to be afraid of. Failure is success in progress. And while we're on that, failure is the condiment that gives success its flavor. That's sick. But condiment, I think, is a little too light. Whether, frosting, we get the poetic, the analogy, but it's like, why does it feel so good to win? In part because it feels so brutal to lose, right? I didn't win when I fought pro MMA. I fought at a low level. It started in 2008, I think, to 2014. And I didn't win my first two. I had a really great but painful, like I was injured a lot, but had a courageous first fight, and then I was submitted pretty quickly. My third fight I won, and it felt so good. And I'm sad you don't get those back. When you attempt something and you fail, you don't get them back, and that is a part of you. The failure is a part of you, but it's an important part of you, because you could also stop then. But the only real failure is not trying. That's the real failure, because if you try and do not succeed, but you learn something about yourself, you learn something about the truth of the thing you're trying to do. Every great writer who wrote a great book wrote a bunch of crap that sucked, right? And the process of becoming a great writer or a great gardener or a great bus driver, whatever it is, business person, is through, the act of trying and failing, gathering more information, adjusting, changing and growing, right? It's going to come up a lot in my streams. It's going to come up a lot in my YouTube shows. It's a topic that's going to come up a lot in all of the things that I make. I'm lucky to be able to share these things, but that's a big one. That's always going to be a big one for me. I'm always going to push about that because people are afraid to fail, and so they're afraid to try. Oh, we got another Bob Dylan. A man is a success if he, this is so nice. And I feel so lucky. This is what I was looking for today when I suddenly was like, okay, what do you got? What do you got to be? And the consciousness of it, I was about to say, what do you got to be anxious about or bothered about her? Why are you not at your best? Your life is great, and it is. I'm very lucky. I'm an incredibly lucky person. It's crazy. But a man is a success if he gets up in the morning and gets to bed at night, meaning he lived, and in between does what he wants to do. That's fucking beautiful. And it's possible. And I kind of live it a lot. give you a quick overview of my day. Before I kind of got into like too many things going on, and how am I going to navigate all these things, and what these deadlines, and I got a little wonky. We all do, and it's very normal. It's very normal. That should make you feel better when you feel a little wonky or not at your best or whatever. Everybody has that. Everybody does, right? It's part of being a human. It's a gift to be able to have such a fascinating life in the time that we live in, that, there's so much going on. There's so many things. That's a lot, but it's also beautiful. But if you get to get up in the morning, you get to go to bed tonight, in between does what he wants to do. I got up this morning, got my daughter up, played with her, went for an hour-long walk. We got a muffin at this place before I even started working. Right. And then when I was working, I got to look at martial arts things and make little art around it, and write poems and draw arrows, and come up with, look at the beauty of it and find a way to share it. Had a meeting with another friend. You can do that though. There's another theme that is going to be part of, my chats. Always going to come up when I chat with anybody. And I will have guests at different points and different parts. And I'll create, on Tuesdays, I create a more sort of curated piece. My lives are as much for me as they are for you. I get to hang out and just think out loud. It's a really, really lucky thing. But even that, look what I get to do, right? But the big theme that I'm going to keep coming back to is this is all super possible, right? Sometimes you'll get a business coach who gives you, my 3 keys to success. Or you get a motivational speaker. They'll tell you, make sure you journal and know your whatever. And all those things can be useful. But I'm not going to give it to you super straight. Like if you find something you're crazy about, really crazy about it, and whatever jobs you have currently or work you have, you keep that and minimize all your expenses and live cheaply while learning the new thing. And in the world that we live in, there's so many tools and different ways you could. So you're really into, gummy bears. You can make gummy bear merch. You can talk about gummy bears on the internet. It's absurd, but you got to do it. You got to go back to this one. Wouldn't it be great? Whatever your thing is, it happens to be Muhammad Ali. Yeah, wouldn't it be great if somebody came along and said, you want to have a job talking about Muhammad Ali? But the opportunity of having a job talking about Muhammad Ali is dressed in overalls and looks like work. You just got to slowly learn it. Slowly go ahead, do the thing, add the things, try and fail. It's all possible though. It really is. It really is. You start with a very small thing. Everyone starts with, a platform or a product or an idea or a service or whatever it is you'd love to do. You start with the thing. Okay. What is it? Okay. How do I learn it? And what could I do with it? And if it took you, again, man, this is all tying together nice. If you treat it like you might live forever, and so you're not in like, I got to do it now and I got to do it, man, what's my mom going to think and whatever, and just start doing it. You start, okay, well, I want to buy and sell gummy bears merchandise. I don't know anything about eBay. Okay, let's start learning about eBay. We make it small, digestible, achievable, tiny things, and we do them all the time, right? It is possible. I swear to you. In 2017, I worked in television, which I had earned and learned and whatever. I'm older now, so I'm stacking skills. I've learned different skills, but this can be done by anybody. You just have to realize it can be done, and then slowly start to acquire skills that will put you in the direction, and just go. Here's another one that actually this is all tied together. It's so beautifully. This is what I was hoping to get from this today. Stephen King. Amateurs sit and wait for inspiration. The rest of us should just get up and go to work. You don't need to be inspired to start your business or learn the thing or add the skill or go to the gym or whatever. You just gotta go do it. And in fact, if you find yourself sitting there and going, how do you find the motivation? Sometimes you don't. Sometimes you don't find the motivation. You just do it. And by knowing there's no need to search for the motivation. You say, how am I going to get motivated to go to the gym? Go to the gym. and you'll be motivated to go to the gym. Sometimes you just got to go do the thing, and if the thing is learning a new thing or figuring out how you can quit a job you hate in 2 years. If I told you could quit your job in 2 years and make $6 more than you make now, or 10% less, or triple, or whatever it's going to be, if I told you could do that in 2 years, if you started now and you put 40 minutes a day to it, would you do it? You might. I can tell you that if you put 40 minutes a day to applied learning of the skills necessary to create a small business around the thing that you love, it will work, right? And if it doesn't quite work, you'll just be so far along in it now that you're learning new skills. You just do it 40 minutes a day. And everybody knows secretly, whether they've said it out loud, that thing that they love. So just I was about to say, when you're playing video games or watching Netflix, stop doing those things unless the passion is those things. And that's going to be part of the process. I didn't know when I was building this business. In fact, I didn't know what this business would look like. My business now is 60 or 70% of my time I get to make martial arts related videos. That pays me a very, very good living. And I have a small team that helps me do it on all these different platforms. And I commentate shows and travel. And then the other 30 or 40% is take the things that I learned from studying that and share them like this. And why did I do that? Because I wanted to spend all day doing stuff I loved, I didn't know that consciously, but that was the thing. Success, you get up in the morning, go to bed at night, and in between you do what he wants to do. I get to do that. And you could definitely do that, but you have to decide. And you start with 30 minutes a day and you decide you're going to do it for 2 years or 3 years. I had my friend Ant Evans. He's got a YouTube channel. You can check it out. He's a YouTube expert. And I was chatting with him today, and I said, okay, well, I'm going to dedicate, my other social stuff and my commentary career and all those things are very settled now. So I found a way to with a bit of a staff, to free up 10 hours a week. I'm going to really go back to spending a lot of time and effort and focus on YouTube. I said, if it takes a year until it grows, that it pays for itself, fortunately, I can take money from my day job and apply it to whatever small things have to be done to do a YouTube channel. So if it's in a year, that would be great. And he said to me, he goes, man, I wish everyone was like you. Most people want it really fast. And it's like, it's the how you apply it. Like, if I told you in a year the thing you really would love to do, you'll be doing, of course you'd be patient. But the truth is, I know it's in a year that part will work. And if it doesn't, I'm already doing it. I get to sit here with a couple hundred people and talk about shit I love. And people send me kind messages like this saying that I helped them. Like, get out of here. What's up, Robin? Been watching you since you were on Fight Network here in Canada. Thank you, my friend. Yeah, so that was 2017 when that kind of shifted. I didn't have a job or anything. I was like, well, if I work really hard at the stuff I love, and if it doesn't sort itself out and I don't figure out how to make that a business, I'll get a job. That's okay. I'll just get a job and I'll do a job to pay my bills. And then the rest of the time I'll do this because I love it. You figure out the thing that you love, and then you figure out the thing you would do for free, and then you do it for free. And eventually you get really good at it and other people like you doing it, and then you get paid. It's really simple. And you'll be like, yeah, you kind of made that sound simple. It's fucking kind of simple. Like, figure out what you would do for free because you love it so much. And then you do it for free. And then you love it. You get better at it. And eventually you start to learn about business. You wouldn't, like, my wife is stunned now sometimes when I'm talking about incorporated business and tech stuff. I didn't know about any of this shit when Fight Network, where my friend here mentioned that he used to watch. I didn't know about any of these things. I just learned, right? Something else. I always loved you, Robin. It's insane you're not on the viral YouTube algorithm. You should talk to Jesse's on Fire. He's in the YouTube Partner Program. Okay, I'll talk to Jesse's on Fire. Again, all of these things you learn as you go. If in a year my live streams have 6,000 people, that would be delightful because you get to have big community and fun stuff. But if it's only 1,000 and I still get to do what I love, I'm pretty happy. But part of it is learning those things, but not desperately needing them. You want to do the best work you can with what you have, and then that'll work. A couple more things. My wife's parents are downstairs, and my daughter and my wife, and they're like, we're gonna have a small birthday party for you, just with them. hopefully I'll have my own party. Did I say my birthday's Sunday? My birthday's Saturday. And I said, well, I'm booked to do my live stream at 5. So 5 Eastern. So I'm doing my live stream because I wanted to do it. And there's literally, tacos and a birthday party waiting for me downstairs. So I should not stay too long, but at the same time, I'm having a great time. The best way out is always through. Man, that's sweet. I keep looking over there at Ryan Holiday's books because they're great. And Robert Greene is one of my favorites too. He mentored the other. But he's got one called The Obstacle is the Way. And Robert Frost has the same thing here. The best way out is through. All the magic lies in the thing you're avoiding doing, right? Like the life you want, and this is maybe overstating it, it's a little bit like Hallmarky, but the life that you want is on the other side of the thing you're not doing today, that you should be doing, and you kind of should be doing. And some of it, and it could be as simple as you'd like to be a little healthier, move a little better, be a little less, whatever. You just got to go exercise. And, you got to move towards the challenge, right? You have to. No, you don't have to, but you should, right? You don't have to do anything. You can do anything you want. And sometimes that's part of the difficulty. You can do anything you want. What do you really want to do? And this thing's going to try to distract you. Netflix is going to try to distract you. And you do want to watch that Netflix thing, but some of it's comforting. Some of it's comfort. It's trying to take you. What's the thing that you'd really like to be doing? Go do that thing on a very low level, or research it, or talk about it, or do a little learning related to it. You can do it. It's real. It's real. Oh, 2 more. Great things are not done by impulse, but by a series of small things brought together. Man, you don't suddenly wake up and you're, the world's leading authority on gym mats, or whatever the thing you're going to be is. If you go and move towards it, you're going to slowly learn about that thing and the related subjects that will help you do that thing. And this is the greatest university that in the history of man. Every piece of knowledge. I learned how to edit videos, and is now one of the primary parts of my business. Watching YouTube, and a 9-year-old girl taught me how to, on YouTube, with videos that she made on how to edit on an iPad. And it's all there. You just slowly start compiling knowledge, and also, small things brought together. If I can tell you one thing, read something every day, anything. I like a lot of nonfiction, things about how things work and why they are, and things like that. So you can kind of get a sense of the parts of the world. A little bit of tech, a little bit of philosophy. But if you have a reading habit, 15, 20 minutes, that is a little thing that compiles every day, and you start adding knowledge, right? Any amount of surfing, look at yourself. If you're just surfing or scrolling and it's not with any intention, just snap out of it, take a 5-minute walk, and come back and intentionally find something. And do that every day, small things every day. Lao Tzu, nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished. So I try to end on a positive thing on every video. It's something I've kind of committed to. Today, I think it's been good vibes all the way through. So we're going to be, Casey says, love the show. Thank you, everybody. I think we've been consistently good vibes today, but this is great. So all these things today, this all morphed into me being like, listen, fuck, you can go out and create. For a lot of people, it's a business. For a lot of people, it's they want to make some art. For whatever it is, you can do the things you're not doing that you wish you were doing. And we saw a lot of quotes today that have triggered thoughts that are real about how we can do those things. But you don't have to hurry. You just have to do it a little bit. It's not going to happen overnight. Neither should it, because the path is the point, right? The destination isn't the point. The path is the point. If you really, really want to have an eBay store that flips gloves from the WEC, I don't know where I came up with that one, but that would be really cool. I'd actually really like a WEC glove, maybe a Uriah Faber one. That would be cool. Or Mike Brown. Can I ask him? I'm going to text Mike Brown. If Mike Brown has one, he's not going to give it to me. But I'd like to put one on my set, a little WEC glove. I love the WEC. But yeah, if your goal is you want to buy and trade WEC memorabilia, being a successful WEC memorabilia person isn't the point. Starting it, walking the path, the people you meet in the process of doing it, the experiences you have, the knowledge that you gain. I have a friend, his name is Big Mo. Big Mo is a commentator. He's a ring announcer, and he ring announces BYB, which is their family. I may be doing some digital work for them on this channel and on theirs, I think. We're talking about it now. And he ring announces for them and for some pretty big boxing events, especially in England. And I remember when I met Big Mo, we were doing a show in Cheyenne, Wyoming, which is a beautiful place, by the way. And Big Mo was talking about how his goals and objectives. And he didn't say this, but I said it to him. And I love him. He's a great ring announcer and a really good guy. And I said, Big Mo, don't sit there trying to figure out how to dream of becoming a ring announcer. You are a ring announcer. You stood in this cage tonight. I was sitting there commentating, you ring announced, and you do other shows. You may have, and this was me, this was not his, he had no flaws here that caused me to give him this advice. But I'm like, you do lots of them. Do you want to do bigger ones? Okay. And that's a worthwhile goal. But don't forget, once upon a time, you dreamed of doing what you're doing tonight. And that's kind of the point, the path. And now he's done the O2 Arena in London and stuff. And I was there. I was commentating BYB show with Mike Goldberg and Paulie Malignaggi, who I love them both. And Big Mo was ring announcing with us. And then the night before, he was doing the stadium. It's just a coincidence. He had 2 gigs. And I didn't get to go, but the other guys went. And I said, they were all like, hey. And he came in. They were all, Goldberg was like, congratulations, you did awesome. And they said, how did you feel? And he goes, well, I kind of visualized this a lot. And it felt right. I felt like I was where I was supposed to be. And that's the goal. And the way that we talked about opportunity looks like hard work. The goal is to get there, but the goal is also to make sure that Cheyenne, Wyoming, that cage, that you enjoy it and you're present all the way through. And there are people, if you start on a path of your own business or whatever it is, at some point a year later, you'll still have dreams of it being bigger or whatever. But where you are a year from now, you will only have dreamed of it today. And that's the point. The path is the point. The path of, each step isn't about the next step. It's about where you are now and where you once were and how much you've grown as a result of doing it. I can tell you one last thing. I've been doing Tai Chi, which I just love. It's a moving meditation. It's, of course, a Chinese martial art derived down to a movement-based type of meditation. It's a soft martial art. It's not for violence, right? I know how to fight. People have said to me, Tai Chi doesn't work. I'm like, it works. It's made me more relaxed and serene and see things in a different way. I'm not doing it to learn how to fight. I know how to fight. I've, the purple belt in jiu-jitsu and a black belt in taekwondo, and I'm at boxing and kickboxing matches. I know how to fight. I'm doing this for a different purpose. And so since I've been doing it, so one of the people that's been doing it for 20 years, she said, Tai Chi isn't slow. It's just done until the move is completed. You just do the move until it's completed. And that person. And then I started to realize, well, yeah, you complete the movement. It appears slow to other people, but in the process, you are simply completing the movement. And there was 2 people, and that were, along the same early, program as me. In the first few months, you're in a certain part of the program, and then you go to continuing. And they had said, and I'm not in any way judging anybody, but somebody that was there with me said, well, I'm not doing it right. And I thought, well, that person has been doing it 11 years is not doing it right. And that person has been doing it 28 years is not doing it right, because it's what's right. It's a path to it. But then they said, and I found this beautiful, they said, But if I don't do it right, I won't get the health benefits. In Tai Chi, there's proven health benefits for the body and for all types of them. As you look into it, especially as some study of this has been happening in China and beyond for a long time, there's a lot of health benefits. I said, if I don't do it right, I won't get the health benefits. And it suddenly occurred to me, much of the health benefits is created by the de-stressing through the doing. And part of the de-stressing is learning to accept the process. Through the process of learning, I will get the benefits, because by learning, what I will learn is that there is no right. There is only relaxing into the movement. And it is through that relaxation, not only emotionally and psychologically, that relaxation will help with anxiety and depression and worry and fear and whatever's going on up in the cocktail of every person. But it'll also help with this. Got to get it right. Got to do it right. This high shoulder, tight body stuff, as that starts to relax, not only in the doing, but in the learning that life is a process. It is through this process of learning through which we gain benefit, that the understanding of that relieves some of the stress. Urgency is not a way to live. Urgency is used for emergencies. They happen to rhyme, and I've never said that before. Maybe it sounds dumb. It wouldn't work on a poster on the wall. But urgency is not a methodology for life. You can't go through life getting it all right and having to do it. And with this perfectionist, like, you can't live in a state of emergency. You allow the things to happen. You allow it to unfold. You allow things to complete themselves. Nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished. It's so beautiful. You will get nothing else out of learning to create your Etsy store or your business or whatever, that become an artist, learn an instrument, whatever it is you're trying to do, build your body, change your skills, whatever. Doing it with a wound up, need to rush. I got to get to the destination will not make it better. It'll probably make it worse, right? Most things, I'll leave you with this thought, life is, if you think of it like a song or dancing, you are not, and I don't just mean your whole life. I mean the stage of life, this moment, today, the next thing you're working on, where you are right now. It's like a song or like dancing. The point of the song is not to hurry up and get to the end of the song, right? The point of dancing is not to finish the dance. It's to be in it, to be present in it, to enjoy it. And that's the same thing with when I'm going to go downstairs and spend time with my family. The point isn't to hurry up and get to the next thing. And that was what I was talking about at the very beginning today, when I was like, sometimes you have this kind of, you're listing all the things that you got to do and figuring out how to get them done and get to the next one. You never get to the next one, because all that feeling is an illusion. And it isn't about finishing the last emails. It isn't about clearing off your to-do list. It's the feeling that you're not comfortable right now, that you're not being in the song and being in the dance. Life is a song. Life is a dance. This moment is a song. We don't need to get to the end of it. Just need to be in it. So thank you for hanging out with me today. I'm going to try to do most Thursdays. And then I've got sort of recorded Ask Robin Blacks. People give me really questions I'm very thankful for, and I get to dive down little rabbit holes and examine them. So there'll be one out Tuesday morning. Thank you all for being here. I'm very humbled that you hang out with me for this length. I'm doing a daily newsletter. It may be a paragraph, maybe 3 lines, and it really won't be every day as much as I want it to be, as much as I'd like that consistency. But if you go to my Instagram, it's Robin Black Martial Arts. The link is in my bio. And you can sign up for my daily newsletter. I can probably share it on YouTube somehow, but I don't know how. Ant is going to teach me to use this platform better. But, I try to practice what I preach. I wanted to get more engagement with myself with YouTube. There's 40,000 people that subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I've been terribly underservicing you, and I apologize for that. So I just started doing it instead of sitting there and over planning it and figuring out, just get going. I've got to practice what I preach. This is what I tell people to do. Start, go, do, and learn as you go. But if you would, please go to my Instagram at Robin Black Martial Arts. The first link in my bio is for my daily newsletter. And the first one's tomorrow morning. So thank you all so much. I have a bunch of really nice comments here, and thank you for engaging. And if you really enjoy this, please share it. Two other thoughts. I am looking, if anybody is good at creating small clips from these YouTube lives that you think are meaningful, put my ad on Twitter or somewhere where I'll see it. I don't see my DMs on a lot of them because we're not following each other, I don't. Go in there and say, I make clips. I'd like to make some YouTube clips. I'll ask you to make a bunch of them because nobody pays somebody for not knowing what they do. And if they're really good, who knows? Maybe it could turn into it won't be a lot of money, but maybe it could turn into something. And same thing, if somebody's really good at putting together podcasts out of this, it's something I'm looking for, right? I want to be able to share these thoughts. It's a privilege to be able to sit and chat. And if I can share it with people, it's really a wonderful thing. Thank you all so much. Share these videos and my page with anyone you like. I'm grateful as fuck. Does YouTube get mad if you swear? I don't know. I'm getting old. Thank you all so much. And I'm truly grateful. And have a wonderful few days. And I'll see you next Thursday if you're around.